Now, that doesn't mean, it means you can be in the room. It doesn't mean you get to look over someone's shoulder, and it doesn't mean you get a vote necessarily. But the bipartisan Board of Elections, they have direct access to everything, including the Republican members and the Democrat members. And they do get a vote. And it's, in fact, they're the people who are charged with verifying that. So it's both public for public observation, and it's open to each political party through direct intervention and oversight through their representatives on each county Board of Elections or registration. One question that we have received a lot is about a signature match settlement agreement that we entered into in February or March of this year. That we entered into a settlement agreement. The Democratic Party, DNC, and I think DSCC had challenged our signature match law, asserting that it was unconstitutional. So, we really wanted to make sure that check was upheld. So we were able to settle the case, and one of our main goals in settling that case was to ensure that Election Day was not extended. We saw this in post-election in 2018 when federal judges, right after the election, ordered counties to go back and do things or allow additional time for things, and we wanted to make sure that didn't happen because we think it's a twisting of our law, and because it's not something that counties really have time to do in terms of good election administration. So we were able to settle that case by doing one thing we had already planned to do, which was define the timeline when a county had to get out notice of a signature issue on a ballot. There was a law passed, as you guys well know, in 2019 that introduced a cure period for absentee ballots that had signature issues. That was something that had been going around the country, and for absentee ballots that didn't have a cure period, they were basically getting struck down all around the country. So we added that cure period to make sure that our signature match laws were upheld. The state election board passed a rule that said you have to get out the notice of a signature issue to the voter within 3 days, or if it's within 11 days of election day, within the next day, because we wanted to ensure that the voters had time to do that. And we wanted to ensure that judges didn't say at the end of the day, oh, there's not enough time, we need to extend this cure period time past the Friday after election day. So we did that, and the other thing that we agreed to do in that settlement agreement was put out an official election bulletin, which that's something that our office sends to counties. It's not a law, it's not a regulation passed by the state election board. It's basically us talking to counties and saying, hey, here's something we think you need to know. Here's our recommendation on how to best follow Georgia law. The first sentence of that official election bulletin said, counties, and I left it downstairs, I apologize, but it said counties are required to verify signatures on absentee ballot applications and absentee ballots on both the signature in eNet, which is our voter registration system, and the signature on the absentee ballot application. And if the signature doesn't match, you follow the process set out in OCGA 21-2-386. And we actually knew pretty well how counties were doing this because of all the litigation in 2018. And what we put in play, or what we recommended to them, was actually the process that many of your counties already followed in terms of doing signature matches. So that's why we agreed to that. In return for that, we got a release of all signature match claims for the rest of 2020, which I think helped to accomplish our goal of not extending Election Day past November 3rd. One other question we've been getting a lot is I don't know if it's a question, maybe it's more of a request, is to perform a signature audit of signatures on absentee ballots and then applications and signatures on file. Our office investigates elections issues when we receive a specific complaint of fraud or irregularity in the process. We have over 250 investigations ongoing right now. Many of those are about absentee ballots. And many of those will include a signature match of, or kind of a signature audit of the voter's absentee ballot application and their vote on file. One thing that we have seen come up quite a bit is allegations from individual voters that when they went to vote, they were told, "You have requested an absentee ballot," and the voter said, "No, I haven't." So that's something we've been looking into, and the voter is kind of understandably concerned, "Oh, this is fraud, someone's doing this for me." What we have seen in every one that we have been able to look into so far is the voter was on what we call the rollover list. In Georgia,